is Valley News Live at 10.
He's gone through a lot, and yeah, we're happy he's here and not have another family have to go through this.
A serious injury to a Fargo youth hockey player has led to mandatory protective gear. The 9-year-old Luke Solsing was slashed while practicing. He collided with a teammate and took an ice skate to the neck. The injury prompted the Fargo and West Fargo youth hockey programs to call for players to wear neck guards. In an exclusive story, Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with Luke, his family, and league officials about the incident and the use of neck guards.
I turned and this guy was skating backwards and he turned into me, so he kind of face planted and his skates went up on my neck.
A normal hockey practice turned into a nightmare here at Southwest Arena just 6 months ago.
I saw him get up and I saw him put his hand, and I saw him scream. And that's when I knew something was up.
A slash to the neck hitting Luke's jugular vein had a whole arena worried what could be next for the 9-year-old.
The biggest thing was I just can't lose him on the ice that day. Couldn't.
But as Luke was in the hospital recovering from surgery, the hockey community was taking precautions, wiping clean the stock and neck guards at all the local sporting stores.
For as many sharp objects as are flying around out on the ice, especially during practices and different things like that, it's a cheap insurance.
It's like any other piece of equipment. Mouth guards are mandatory. Kids wear mouth guards. And actually, I feel like a neck guard is more important than a mouth guard.
Luke wasn't wearing one at the time, but that's all changed now. And it's changed for all Fargo and West Fargo players as well. A new policy that just went into effect last week.
With the speed of the game now, you're seeing more and more injuries and concussions and things like that. So like this is just I think the next step towards making it safer for kids.
Moorhead Hockey has yet to make neck guards mandatory for their players, and USA Hockey hasn't either.
USA Hockey really needs to get behind this and make a push, because once they make it mandatory, then of course all of their affiliate organizations across the country have to also abide.
Casobud adding he hopes that push comes soon, before something like this happens again.
Player safety is got to be our first priority, and without keeping our players safe, I mean, we don't have a game.
But as for Luke, he's already back on the ice.
It's just so fun. You get you can be rough and score goals, and it's fun.
He's getting ready for this season and giving me a few lessons along the way. In North Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Casobud says the average price for neck guards is only about $50. In a related story, USA Hockey, the national governing body for ice hockey in the U.S., does not require neck guards, but it does recommend them. It says there isn't a lot of data on how often or severe neck lacerations are or the effectiveness of neck guards. It also says more than a quarter of players who were cut after being slashed in the neck were already wearing neck guards, and more than half of those cuts only required bandaging. USA Hockey also says neck guards can hurt a player's range of motion. A puzzling situation out of Polk County tonight, and it's a breaking news story. The sheriff there now has confirmed with Valley News Live they got a call from a 52-year-old man today who had been shot near a bridge. Police say a body was found near the Neilsville Bridge, that's 22 miles south of Crookston. They say there is no risk to the public, and that we'll continue to bring you updates on this developing story. The chairman of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa says he's not happy about today's ruling from the North Dakota Supreme Court that vacated William Haynes' life sentence. Chairman Jamie Azure says he's extremely disappointed and honestly a bit angry at the news. The 34-year-old Haynes pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit kidnapping and providing false information to law enforcement. Last October, he was sentenced to life with the chance of parole. He appealed to the North Dakota Supreme Court, arguing he was incorrectly labeled as a dangerous special offender. The High Court agreed, meaning the highest penalty he could face would be 20 years in prison. Graywin's family has ties to the Turtle Mountain tribe, and members of the tribe traveled to the Fargo area in 2017 to aid in the search for Savannah. Meanwhile, Ruth Buffalo, who has worked very closely with the Graywin family, indicated that the ruling was very disappointing.
It is a devastating ruling, and it tells us there's so much work to be done, not only in North Dakota, but across the region and across the entire country.
We reached out to members of Savannah's family, but they do not wish to speak to this ruling at this time about the ruling. Traffic seems to be flowing again in and around Discovery Middle School after 3 long years of construction in and outside. Today was the first day of school in Fargo, and parents and school officials there tell us the headache of pickup and drop-off appears to be over.
And so when you have 500 vehicles or so, bombarding one space, it's a nightmare. And so now we have both the south and the west for pickup and drop-offs.
Williams adds, with more than 1,000 students being picked up and dropped off daily, the wait time was about 10 minutes or so. Now parents say they're in and out in under 5. The numbers are in following the first week of the hands-free law in Minnesota. Officers say they gave out 678 tickets to drivers across the state during the first week that the law went into effect. Fines are $50 for the first offense, $275 for each subsequent violation, plus you have to pay court costs. The Minnesota Department of Health says the number of cases of severe lung disease being investigated as potentially linked to vaping has increased from 4 to 15. The increase comes after officials issued an alert for healthcare providers to be on the lookout for cases of severe lung disease related to vaping and e-cigarette use among teens and young adults. The symptoms described to doctors include shortness of breath, fever, cough, vomiting, and diarrhea. A building that's been vacant for some time is coming down. Hooters opened in the early 1990s along 17th Avenue South in Fargo, just south of the West Acres Mall. In 2008, it moved out of the building to a location along Fiechner Drive, but closed in 2014. The original spot for the restaurant is gone. It was torn down today. The company that owns that property says they have no plans for the immediate future at this time.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with no wait weather.
Well, it's been a beautiful day across the valley. Temperatures were a little below average, but all in all, it's been quiet and a break from the rain of earlier in the week. 61 degrees now at Hector with an east-southeast wind. It remains under 10 miles per hour. So we take a look at temperatures at this hour. The warmest weather out in the western Dakotas, Williston in the mid-70s, a lot of 60s up into the Red River Valley, and then some lower 50s in Bemidji, as you can see in the areas of green where that cool pool of air has spun its way out in that direction. Waskish, by the way, it's 54, and Roseau at 57 degrees already. Clear skies for most, a few clouds out to the east, and as mentioned here in Fargo, we have more of a southeasterly wind, but we still have a little bit of a north breeze up in the northern valley. As we take a look at the region, it's quiet down in the Dakotas, but as we look off to the west, showers and thunderstorms rumbling in the high plains of Montana and Wyoming. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. As we set things into motion overnight tonight, we're not going to have any of those low 40s out there, but we may dip into the upper 40s in our far eastern counties, while some of the Montana showers push into the western Dakotas. We start the day dry, maybe a few clouds in our southwestern counties, and that's how we get your Friday going. Now, as we had more winds out west today, we're going to see the gustier winds start to work their way into our western counties as we go through the afternoon. We'll enjoy sunny skies in our region and temperatures warming nicely. It'll be pretty comfortable in the afternoon, but notice more wind arrows here. Winds will be 15 to 25 miles per hour from the south or southeast through our region, while in that afternoon, showers and thunderstorms develop out in the western and central Dakotas. So by Friday night, some of that activity will be pressing its way to the north and east, and there will be a slight chance that our westernmost counties may hear a rumble of thunder on your Friday night into Saturday morning. But most of us in the valley and points east stay dry. Your hour-by-hour forecast: Fargo 55 to start. We're warming it up to 78 by the afternoon. Remember those winds from the southeast, 15 gusting to around 25 miles per hour. And for tomorrow evening, we'll have an increase in clouds as that activity gets going in the western Dakotas. A lot of mid and maybe a few upper 70s across eastern North Dakota and western Minnesota. Expect low 70s, more wind, and that's going to be the main change in our weather. Now, as we go into the weekend, we've been talking about a chance of rain. Here's an early look at the forecast potential for rain. As we head through the day on Friday, most of it stays west, and most of us in the Red River Valley and in Minnesota stay dry for Saturday as well. But Sunday, well, this system works its way over the valley. This looks to be the biggest chance of rain as we go through, and a few of those thunderstorms on Sunday afternoon into Monday morning could be on the strong side. We'll keep you advised there. Here's a great shot, this one uploaded by Elizabeth. Flum looking great. Here's your planning forecast as we close out your work week. Saturday looks pretty good, I think, for the Potato Days activities, both Friday and Saturday. But Sunday, bring the umbrella. It could get a little soggy. It does look like those 70s are a staple on Hutch's 7-day planner there as the rain chances continue into early next week.
70s are good.
Yes.
Thanks. Up next on Valley News Live 10 at 10, two wartime veterans meet again more than 50 years after